Okay, in the first game we're watching here, and also welcome to all the people watching at home. Kannst du mich ein bisschen lauter machen? We will see the first game between Wet City Rollers and Dust City Rollers. I want to introduce the Dust City Rollers first. With the number 1-1, Glutea Maxima. With the 1-2-7, Sunset Siren. 1-7-5, Thunder Size. Number 2, Crash Owl. With the number 2-0, Ratchet Ram. 2-2-5, Rat Raccoon. 3-3, Blocking Jay. 4-0-4, Cool Eyes. With the number 4-4, Fancy. 5-7, Scarasaurus. 5-9-3, Anaspicius. Number 9, Pina Rolada. And at the bench, Joe Hammer, Spider Queen, and Reckless Spice. And our home team today with the number 07, the Quackum. With the number 10, Tits and Acid. Number 12, Mean Machine. Number 14, Aquamba. With the number 15, Hannah Hardy. Number 2, Mad Donna. With the number 21, Skater Shiver. Number 2-3, Finish Her. 2-4-2, Penny Violence. Number 3, Virginia Wood. With the number 5, Petty Shit. Lucy Lucy. And we're starting the first jam of this halftime of the first game of this tournament. Right now, the jammer of Dust City is in the front and got the lead jam for Dust City Rollers. And the opponent, Jenny Hossenkeller from the Wet City Rollers, is following. This was a quick jam and it was called off before any points by the opponent team could have been made. Although one team was already made by Wet City. So we have 2 points for Dust City and 1 point for Wet City after the first jam. So this is a question for the people in the audience. Is there anyone who has never been at roller derby before? Okay, I can see some hand signals. So I try to explain the rules in the bit for those who are new. Okay, so in both teams you can see one person with a helmet cover on which a star is shown. One team has a white helmet cover with a blue star, the other a gray one with a green star. Yes, and you can see the person with the green star passing through the pack and going on the first scoring trip now. These people are called the jammers. The jammers or jammies are the only person who can make points for their team. So the person who wears the helmet cover can make points by passing the opponent people from the opponent team and collect 1 point for every opponent they pass. So on one scoring trip they can do 4 points on maximum. The jammers start behind the jammer line, which is seen from our perspective here from the audience very close to us, while the other people, who are called the blockers, have to start behind this line. And when they hear the first short whistle, they are allowed to try to make their way through the pack and get lead for their team. Okay, right now we have a so-called power jam. This is because the jammer of Dust City in gray did just commit a penalty. And because of this, there's only one Jamie on track right now. And the Wet City Jammy is pushing through and make their way through the pack. Only one person left. And we have lead for Wet City Roller Derby. Lucid Lucy has the lead in this jam and can try to make points for their own team now. But right now the opponent Jammy is coming back, re-entering the track behind the number 2-1 and tries to do their first trip through the pack too. But they are still on the initial trip, so they cannot take points right now. This is why Red City is not calling this off. And trying to pass on the outside is our lead Jammy, Lucid Lucy, trying to do points. Oh, we have another penalty for a black blocker with the number 2. And this way the jammer can make their way through, but they fall down and are allowed to get back and try to get points now. But the jam was ended. And so this is the new jam. We got 3 points for Wet City Rollers and 0 points for Dust City. This means 4 points for Wet City and 10 points for Dust City right now. So, and we start in the next jam. The blockers, as you see them in the start, have to start in one big group, which is called the pack. And the pack is the biggest amount of skaters, of blockers of both teams. And only in the pack you are allowed to block, or in the engagement zone, which depends on the pack. So this is why our blockers have to stay at the same point. So they cannot go all over the track the whole time. So this is why they move as a pack. And this one was called off quickly after 8 points for Dust City Rollers. What an amazing jam.
Nice synchronization.
Okay, I have a quick question to the audience. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, am I hearable? Okay, thank you. Also, for the people in the audience, if you have any questions, you can just bring them to ask us and we will answer them to make everything clear. And we are waiting for the 5 seconds.
We need to be even clearer and louder, apparently.
Okay, we have a quick discussion between the officials here. This is why we're still waiting. And this was the whistle, ready for 5 seconds. And we wait for the start whistle, which is a called quick whistle. Okay. Dust City made their way through the pack and has the lead. Scarasaurus is lead jammer in this jam, while the opponent Jammy from Wet City is still trying to make their way through the first trip. The first trip through the pack is necessary and you don't get any points for it. So until the opponent jammer did their first trip, people keep on making points, because only on the second trip the opponent will have the opportunity to get some points too. Dust City is doing lots of short jams here. Again, 8 points, which is quite a lot of points. And our new status is 4 points for Wet City Rollers and 26 points for Dust City Rollers. We have a new strategy from Wet City right now. They start from the pivot line and try to sit on their opponents, have more ways to block. And it was kind of successful, but on the very end, the opponent... but that was a penalty from the Dust City blocker. This is why our Jammy from Wet City could just go on and is on their first scoring trip right now, but they fall down. They had to get back and they had to go to the penalty box. What a pity. This means we have no lead status in this jam, and because only the lead jammer can call off a jam, this will be a full 2 minutes jam, which is kind of exhausting for the jammers. Okay, in this power jam, Dust City skater tried to... and we have a penalty from Dust City. This means a jammer swap, because we can't play without a jammer. When one jammer is in the box and the other two, one is sent out immediately. And so our Wet City Jammy is back and can do some points for Wet City Rollers. 4 points for Lucid Lucy, which is 8 points in this jam already. And again, Lucy Lucid makes their way through the pack, and we have amazing more 4 points for Lucid Lucy, which is 12 points now for Wet City Rollers, a big amount that helps them a lot. And again, Lucid Lucy made their way through the pack. We have 16 points for Wet City Rollers now, only 10 points difference right now. The jam cannot be called off. 3 seconds will end. And Dust City could also do 4 points, while Wet City ends this jam with 16 points, an amazing jam for Wet City. And we have only 10 points difference right now. And we have 2 more points, that was from the last jam. So we have right now 20 points for Wet City and 32 points for Dust City Rollers. We have a timeout. Okay, quick timeout. Was it time? So we have a little break in between the timeouts. This is a good opportunity to give you some more rules which are necessary for roller derby. So in roller derby you have legal target and blocking zones. The target zones are the zones you are allowed to target on your opponent. This is like, for example, the complete front of the body except the head and the legs, but not the head, not the spine, but the sides of the back. So this is why the blockers often show their backs to the jammies, because the jammies are not allowed to hit into their spines, so they have to go slower to not commit a penalty. And we have lead for Dust City again. Rat Raccoon is on their first scoring trip right now and tries to pass the Wet City blockers while they are not covered, but they got. And also Wet City Jammy is through the pack already, tries to be fast to get their points, but it was called off by Dust City very quickly to avoid that the opponents can do any points. We have 4 points for Dust City and 0 points for Wet City after this jam. We have a lot of very quick jams here where the Dust City Rollers try to avoid to give Wet City any chance to score. This is a very common way because you can save energy by not making too many trips and try to avoid your opponent to, do any points. Jamie from Dust City is not sure if they can legally enter, so they are just skating on the inside field, and now they re-entered to the pack, searching for an opportunity to pass the Wet City blockers. We have Sunset Siren being lead Jamie in this jam, Dust City Rollers. And trying to go out, and was hidden out on the outside by the number 5-4 from Wet City, but is calling off this jam immediately to avoid the opponents doing any points. We have a 0-point jam for both teams at this point. So maybe because some of you are for the first time at roller derby, we hear the rolling whistle which says we are ready for the next jam, waiting for 5 seconds. That was the 5 seconds. And the first whistle. Oh, and Wet City tried to go outside. But Dust City was very quick. We had no pack situation here, you know. The blockers always have to move as a pack, so they have to commit to a really nice hit to the outside. And the jammer is getting back in. Wet City is still on the initial trip, while Dust City is already making points for their team. That is strategy by Wet City where they try to goad the opponent pivot. And right now the pivot is trying to do some offense for Dust City, which was really helpful. And Dust City does again a scoring trip through the pack. It's 8 points in this jam for Dust City Rollers, while Wet City already made their way through the first trip and is also trying to do some points for their team. And I don't know if this was 1 point. Yes, we have 1 point for Wet City Rollers. And 10 points for Dust City Rollers, of course, too. Right now it's 21 to 46 points between Wet City Rollers and Dust City Rollers. Wet City tries to go through the inside, is pushing hard on the inside blocky, and Dust City makes their way through the pack again. Both jams are on the way, and Dust City already is in their first scoring trip. Wet City also reached, and it was called off. This could be 1 point for Wet City. Ooh, we have 2 points for Wet City and 3 points for Dust City Roller Derby. But Jamie was on the very end, pitted out by the opponent and was recycled the whole way to the end of the engagement zone. Now the pivot is trying to do some offense for the Jamie again. But it's very hard because the reforming is awesome. And we have, with the number 1-2, Mean Machine getting lead status for Wet City Rollers, while their team is still blocking the opponent jammer awesomely, who did put on their helmet cover right now, which is a nice tactic. And right now they are both trying to get through the pack. And we have a nice recycling by Wet City. Right, both teams are fighting through the pack. Wet City with the lead status, trying to make points for their team. Now they quickly try to just get some points. We're waiting for a quick offense here. And now they called to avoid the opponents to do any points. They're waiting. Could be 2 points. Yes, 2 points for Wet City Rollers and 0 points for Dust City Rollers in this jam. Also, we have target zones, but we have also blocking zones in roller derby. This means with which parts of your body are you allowed to block or to engage. So, legal blocking zones are the sides of our body, the back and the front of our body, but not our arms, head and legs. So, we cannot block with our hands, so we are not allowed to hit our opponents or do any boxing or kicking, of course. But we are allowed to show them our chest or back to catch them. And also the upper part of our legs, which is over the knee. So we are not allowed to use the knee to block, but we are allowed to use our hips, our back, our shoulders to hit the opponents and try to block them. We're not having a lead Jammy right now. Both are struggling on their first trip to the Wet City was recycled and is going into the back of the team, trying to push the opponent. But they are pretty strong. This costs a lot of energy. Lucid Lucy is really trying hard to push the opponent away. But it's super hard. Now they juked off. That was a really, really nice way. Awesome. And we have lead for Lucid Lucy for Wet City Rollers. They try to get a very quick point now and to call off. Okay, I'm curious how many points this will be. This was a very, very sharp ending of a crazy jam. And we're having, right now, 0 points for both. Okay, no points given in this jam. Might be because both jammies did a crazy jump but landed outside and not in bounds on skates. So no points given. I was talking a lot about recycling right now, so maybe I should quickly explain this for those people who do not know what recycling means. It is when a jammy was hidden out by a blocky, the blocky can skate backwards because the jammy is only allowed to go back on the trip behind the blocker who blocked them out and behind all opponent blockies who were in front of them when they were blocked out. So recycling means to bring the jammy at the very end of the engagement zone, so they have again a very far way through the pack. So both jammies waiting in the middle of the track, fighting for the middle position. Dust City has their iPod directly around them. That's a really, really hard jam for Wet City because we have only 2 blockies on track. 2 blockies are in the penalty box and have to wait there for half a minute until they are released again. But this is awesome. Oh my god. Only 2 blockers, but they are fighting so hard. They're doing a great job and they hold their opponent for a long way. And 1 blocky is released from the box, but another one had to go in. So we are still 2 blockies on track. Okay, right now we have 3 blockers for Wet City again on track, who try to hold the opponent. Fancy for Dust City has the lead status and is trying to make points for their team. And another scoring trip through the pack, which means 8 points for Dust City. While, oh, we had a really nice star pass here. As you just saw, the pivot was putting on the helmet cover. It is our new jammer. And in this moment, the jam was called off. 0 points for Wet City and 10 points for Dust City Rollers. Dust City is claiming already the jammer line, while we are not having any Wet City blockers. This could be because they want to do a little team timeout. Yes, and we had the call for the team timeout here. We will have a little break, talk to your neighbors. We will put on a little bit of music and be here in a minute. Be a man or a woman and play in one category. This sport is open for trans people, for non-binary people, for inter people, and this makes the sport much better. Yeah, just much better than so many others. Okay, this was a quick start where Lucid Lucy tried to... Oh, we have a cutting here. Too bad. Lucid Lucy is in the penalty box now, so we have a power jam for Dust City. The others, the other blockers try to give a nice offense for their Jenny. But Wet City is handling this very good. Wow. Good blocking skills from Wet City, which make it impossible for this awesome Jenny from Dust City to get their way through the pack. And Wet City Jenny is released from a penalty box. We are still not having a lead Jammy, and both Jammies are trying to make their way through the first trip. Okay, we have one blocky penalty for Wet City, and both Jammies stacked in a dry pot. We're waiting if the Wet City can make their way through the pack. Yes, that was the initial trip for Wet City, but they could not get lead status because they were in the penalty box before, and when you were penalized, you cannot get lead status. This is why Dust City has lead status right now. They could have called off this before the opponents did any points, but I'm afraid they forgot about this, and so this way Wet City could do 4 points already for their team. Lucid Lucy is doing their second trip. Yes, that's awesome. We have 8 points for Wet City in this jam, and it was called off by Dust City after getting at least 3 points for their own team. This was a very good jam for Wet City Rollers, our home team here. So the audience is very happy. And we have about 7 minutes left to play in this halftime. That was the first twist, and the Jammy of Dust City is really quickly trying to get through the pack. Very jukey Jammy that's helpful against the strong blockers. Actually, I have played against Wet City once before, and it was so hard because they are all so tall and I'm so small, and I really had issues doing a nice offense against them to make the way for my Jammy because they all were so tall. So yeah, it's really nice that Sunset Siren is just juking a lot because Wet City has so strong blockies, which are making it very hard for the opponent Jammies. And this was a perfect recycling. The right pivot recycled Dust City Jammy to the very end of the engagement zone, and so Dust City Jammy is stacked again in the bag. We are still not having a lead status. Both Jammies are still on their first trip through the pack. After a nice recycling, Dust City Pivot tries to do some offense on the inside. That was so close. Dust City has the lead status. Sunset Siren has the lead status and can go in their first scoring trip now, while the White Jammy is still fighting to get their way through the pack. Their friends try to give them some nice offense, but they have to reform, catch the Jammy again. They are a little distracted, but they made it, and they catch the Jammy again. Dust City Pivot is trying to give some offense to the Jammy, but they nicely recycled it, and the jam was called off. 4 points for Dust City Rollers and 0 points for Wet City. Oh no, we have 7 points for Dust City Rollers because they made in their last trip 3 more points. And we start with Jam 17 in this game. Wet City Jammy at the front is trying to push out. This might be a hard way to grab them. Oh, and we had a forearm by an opponent blocker. So Wet City has the lead status and tried to do some points. Awesome! And this was quickly called off by our awesome officials. They always have to be concentrated. You see, we have this awesome people in stripes, black and white. These are our skating officials. The skating officials are, watching closely to every part of the game. Everyone the best. Okay, they're getting ready. That was the rolling whistle. We are waiting now for 5 seconds. And here we are. That was the first whistle. And again with a nice suck back. The tripod of Wet City, it's not really called tripod. I'm sorry, I'm from Germany. You might already have noticed my accent. But yeah, in the tripod of Dust City, Wet City Jammy is stuck and tries to get out of there. Oh, Dust City Pivot was very strong, blocking alone. But now also Wet City Jammer made their way through the pack and is on their first scoring trip. And might have get 1 or 2 points for their team. We have 1 point for Wet City Rollers. And 4 points for Dust City Rollers as well. We have 3 more minutes in this halftime. This could be like 2 or 3 more jams. If there is nothing happening. That was the start whistle. Dust City Jammer trying to get through at the outside, getting some offense from a nice non-pivot block here. Pack is in the front. And the Jammy was recycled. Very nice. Both Jammies try to get through. And Dust City is lead Jammy in this jam. And also Wet City made their way through the pack in the initial trip. So they are both trying to quickly make points now and then quickly call it off. We got a message from the live stream from Technotroll, and we want to tell Wet City that they're and we shall tell Dust City that they're doing great and that we love them. With best greetings from Technotroll. So Also for all the people at home and here in the audience, you can give some shout outs to your teams if you just give us a note and tell us what you want to say. We had a nice jam with 3 points for Red City right now and going into the next jam. It's the last jam of this period and both jammies are fighting for the lead status and Red City got the lead status. Lucid Lucy is lead jammy in this last jam of the period, trying to get some points for Red City and is calling off to avoid their opponent to get any points. This should be the last jam of this halftime, so we will get into the break. Let's see if there will be another jam. Oh, there was a team timeout token, so it could be that there is another jam in this halftime. Because usually if there is less than half a minute on the watch, there is no other jam, but there are some extra rules. If there was a team timeout taken, and Red City does that, it can be that there is another jam. So I totally lied to you. This will be the last jam of this halftime. Oh, I was just asked why the officials are talking in the middle and what they discuss. So usually they're talking about problems they had by seeing something, ask again if someone saw a situation too, or just chatting during the team timeout. But it's often that there is also an official timeout. That means that the officials were told we're just like, hey, I haven't seen this perfectly, can we talk about it? And ask each other if someone else had seen the same situation and are like, hey, have you seen, was this jammer inside or outside? So the officials can always take some time to check. Oh, we have lead status for Red City, Hossi Galore. Oh, what is this crazy? Oh, okay, maybe someone can tell me how to pronounce this name. But we have for Galore 4 points after the first scoring trip and 0 points for Dust City. And with this awesome jam for the home team, we start in the intermission. I will have some breakfast now, so yeah, get some cake. I hear there is a buffet where you can buy some cake and maybe some drinks. And make yourself ready for the second halftime of this amazing game. Welcome back to this game between Red City Rollers and Dust City Rollers. We will come up to the second halftime of the first game of this tournament today. That was the starting whistle. Both teams are fighting for the lead status in the first jam of the second halftime. And yay! Hossi Galore made it, got the lead status for Red City Rollers and is trying to make points now for their own team before the opponent Google Jammy is able to pass through the pack. Hossi Galore. I'm sorry I messed up with this name before. I was wondering about this Nordic letters. And this was called off before the opponent Jammy could do any points. Let's wait. We have 4 points for Red City Rollers, which means our new point status is 52 to 79 points between Red City and Dust City Rollers. It's getting close again. The last few jams were actually awesome for Red City Rollers, so they might change the position. Right now we are having a very juky jammy for Dust City. Fancy is trying to make their way through the pack, but was blocked out and recycled by their opponents. This way, the Mean Machine could do again the lead and is trying to get through the pack. I'm wondering how this was not a multiplayer, because the opposing blockers are not allowed to hold each other and link an unbreakable link by holding or crossing arms, because in roller derby only links are allowed where you don't have to break a bone to get through. So this is an important point of the rules for our all safety. Okay, I have an important question to the audience. Could you please stop making noise with your ducks, because we have some sensitive people here and this can be too loud for some of our players and make them really unhappy. So try to do not too many sounds with the dogs you bought at the entrance. And while I was talking, we have another lead status for Lucid Lucy with the number 59, who is just making 4 points on the first scoring trip. What an awesome game for Red City Rollers. And again, we had another scoring trip with 4 points for Lucid Lucy. We have 64 to 79. This is going to be a really close game. Wow. The other jammer is there wide in the penalty box. You might not realize that it's a jammer because they took off their jammer cover for not being seen as a jammer. They hope to quickly go back on the track and do their first pass, but it was called off. So, very smart strategy by Red City Rollers to start with a power start. So, because one jammer is still in the penalty box, it is the same as before. You are not switched out in the penalty box, usually. So, our jam from Red City, Jose Galore, has a power start, can have the help of their friends. During this, the opponent jam is coming back and is trying to do their first trip through the pack too. There's a very stretchy pack here. Jose Galore is trying to do some points, but is calling now to avoid the opponents to also get some points. But at least we have 4 points for Red City Rollers. And it's 72 to 79 right now, which is awesome after this very hard work at the beginning to get at least any points. So things have switched for Red City Rollers. It might have been very helpful that they took team time out in between and rechecked their strategy again. Because I got a question from the audience, I will explain the pack again. So the pack is always, it's hard to explain, but you can imagine that the blockers always have to be in a group. of blockers of both teams. And the biggest group is always the pack. So from the pack, it's about 6 meters front and back. That's the... Yeah. Our skaters on the track just made the audience cheer a little bit because we want to have some fun here during the team timeout of Dust City. And we're going to have a lot of energy here in this audience. Okay, so back to the question. Skaters have to be in the pack or in the engagement zone, which is 6 meters away from the last pack blocking. So at some point they have to let the jammer go if the jammer is pushing through, and this makes pushing such a nice strategy for strong jammers. Oh wow, so much action, so much movement in this first seconds of a jam. Here we saw 2 people bridging very quickly to make the pack still existing, because we are not allowed to split it up into groups. Both jammers are pushing with all their strength against those awesome blockies. We do not want to let them go. All person in the back is avoiding Dust City to get any chance. And Wet City got the lead status! The Mean Machine is lead jammer in this jam. And is now trying, of course, to get some points for their team, which is the home team of this beautiful city. At this moment of rechecking, where the Mean Machine was thinking, okay, where should I go? Where should I try to make my way through? And both jammers are between this strong blockies. That was the calling off. And I have some greeting to the wonderful West City Rollers. So proud of you, and I miss you. Cheer from Pixie Inferno. And we just got another question from the internet watching people. And it's a really good question. Thanks for asking. So, Team Max is playing in this green-gray tricots, while Wet City is playing in white. So I hope you can see this on the display. The white tricots with the white shirts with the blue numbers is Wet City, while the gray shirts with some green shirts. This is Graz. And yeah, Graz is called Dust City Rollers, and Bergen is called Wet City Rollers. So for all those who are watching this and are new in this fandom, Wet City Rollers is Bergen and Dust City Rollers is Graz. And this is another jam. Both jammers are pushing with all they have. At the front we have Graz, and Graz, also Dust City Rollers, has the lead status for their team. Fancy is going in their first scoring trip, but was pushed out awesomely and is calling off because they want to avoid the opponents to get any points at all. Seven jams in this halftime. And yeah, it's a very close game. 75 for Bergen and 89 for Graz. Wet City Rollers against Dust City Rollers. That was a rolling whistle to get ready. Both jammies starting in the middle. But we have a nice tripod on the jam line by Graz, which makes it really hard for Wet City to get through. But that was a really nice offense at the start. The Wet City jammy tried to get through on the inside line and made their way through the pack. The Mean Machine has lead for Wet City Rollers, our home team here in Bergen. And it is a power jam, so they can use the help of all their friends and make their first scoring trip through the pack. These are 4 points for Wet City Rollers, and we have only 10 points difference between these two amazing teams on this track. There was a penalty by one of the blockies, and the opponent jammer is coming back, holding the jammer penalty in their hand, and is making the first trip through the pack. Not a scoring one, but this jam is called off by Wet City Rollers Germany, the Mean Machine, who made at least 6 points for their team. We have only 8 points difference now, which is at this point very sharp. Since Wet City is not on the track right now, there might be a team timeout. Yes, here we got it. A team timeout where the team can check their strategy again. They did before and it was super useful for them. So it's a good idea. As you can see on the scoreboard, every team had 3 points on the sides of their point numbers. So the points like the 81 and 89, and next to it there is this little field with points, and one of them on the left is blinking. These are the team timeouts they can take, and below this there is another one. This is the official review. So once per half time, the team can complain with an official with a mistake, or that they think that was a mistake, and ask all the officials again to recheck if they can remember the situation and if maybe something was missed. Wow, this was an active start. Sunset Zero is going to their first scoring trip. Oh wow, what an iron butt with the number 1-0. The jammy just drive against it. Oh no, I'm afraid. Don't, and ask me directly. This is the 5-second signal for the next jam. After this official timeout, both Jammies are trying to get their way through, and Dust City Rollers Garasaurus made their way through the initial pack and is the lead jammer in this jam, trying to get through and collect some points, while the opponent jammer was putting off their helmet cover, maybe to do a style pass, maybe just to get their way through. Oh, we do not have too many style passes right now. And the Jammy, wow! This was wonderful footwork from Coffee Galore on the toe stop, taking the apex on the toe stop by jumping sideways. Wonderful footwork, but it was not good enough because the opponent jammer was calling this immediately to avoid the other team get any points. Now, since the game is so sharp, both teams try to avoid any points given to their opponents. That was the first whistle. Both teams started a very outside point and really tried to make it through. Here, try to let the jammer to take their own side, but the guys didn't realize which jammer it is, so they won't let them through. And they have to hustle again for the amateurs. Now they are pretty stuck in the iPod. That's the problem. And we have Fancy gotten the lead status for Dust City or Flats. Wow, that was great. And getting 4 points. This time doesn't went that way again. Fancy was blocked out on the outside, and there was a successful star pass by Red City Roller Derby. The pivot turned into the jammy, and the jam is called off to avoid them to get any points. This jam was called off. The skater was able to leave the track. sure this game can go on. Quickly, Sunset Siren made their way through with this awesome footwork, which helps them against the strong blockies from the opponent team. Sneaky making their way through the pack. And now they are in the first scoring kick. Again, try to use their agility to trick their opponent. That was Sunset Siren making their way through the pack and gained 4 points for their own team. We have a bigger difference now again between Wet City Rollers and Dust City Rollers. It's 81 to 114, which is a really big difference if you think where we had been before. We have a team timeout for Wet City Rollers. I hope it can help them as much as it helped them in the first halftime when they were able to turn the game for them. I mean, it's still not such a big difference between both teams. It's like 35 points or something, 33 points. So there's still everything possible with some really good gems or maybe even some power gems. Things can be handled and switched for Wet City Rollers. So they check their strategy again. Maybe eat a little amount of sugar and be strong back on the track to try to turn things for them. Both jammers starting on line number 2 with a tripod of Dust City in front of them. Dust City is really good with playing the jammer line, so this helps them to get some advantage. Meanwhile, Scarasaurus is the lead jammer and ended the jam before their opponents could do anything against it. With 2 blockers in the penalty box, this is a hard start for Wet City Rollers, but sometimes those are the best jams because everyone is so concentrated. But Dust City made their way through the pack. We have some quick offenses for our jammer from Wet City, but now they have to reform and catch the opponent jammer to make sure they do not make even more points. Lucid Lucy is meanwhile trying to make their way through the first scoring pass. And on the other side, Fancy got 4 points for passing all the opponents had blockers. On their third trip They fall down on one knee, but they're still in bounds. And again, we have 4 more points for Fancy. This is an awesome jam for Dust City Rollers. While Lucid Lucy is really struggling here with the awesome strength of the opponent blockers. Wow. This is great. Another scoring trip. 16 points for Dust City Rollers, which makes them, yes, a much more comfortable position while the opponents are still hunting them. And we have another jam while I am still waiting to hear if there was any outcome. But since we have no one in the penalty box, there might be no outcome of this official review. But there was a penalty committed by a pack blocker of Dust City, which can be a nice chance for Hossigallern that they try to take right now to get the lead status for Red City, and they are really craving for it. With the lead status, Hossigallern. I'm still struggling with this Nordic names. But Hossigallern has the lead status and tries to get points for Wet City. While the opponent jammer did a star stash, so they put off the star of their helmet to get through their initial, and now they put it on again to make sure they can make points when they enter the pack again. But to avoid this, Wet City called off the jam and get at least 3 points for Wet City Rollers, which gives us this 84 to 134 points between Wet City and Dust City Rollers. And I got some information about the official review we had before, which was that they wanted the opposing jammer, so the Dust City jammer should have been penalized for something that happened. But if no official saw the situation, or if an official saw the situation and says, hey no, this was correct, there is no penalty given, this was the situation right here, so no call given because of this official review. Meanwhile, still both jammies are fighting for the lead status. Nice offense from the great pivot to help the jammy. Oh wow, what a hit. Dust City jammy, Sunset Siren was hitting out at the outside and is still trying to juke through this. Very, very strong people we have there. Both teams still fighting for the lead status. They are trying to do this with strength in this jam because they don't give them any space for juking. While Sunset Siren is still trying to juke their way through. Is pushed out again and again, but fighting on to get this lead status for their team. And it's going in a nice way for them. Only 2 blockers in front of Sunset Siren, but this was a really nice recycling. Both jammies were just recycled. We have a long way to the pack again. This was a call off. No lead and no points in this jam. Even if no one gets the lead status, after 2 minutes, a jam is over in any case. So, yeah, there are jams possible without a lead and without any points. They can take maximum 2 minutes. We have some dancing at the Gemma line right now. Dust City Gemma Scarasaurus is really excited about the next jam. And also here we have some chatting and some songs on the Gemma line, which is super nice. It's a really nice feeling here in the audience, in this very nice queer feminist sport.  quick jam start where Scarasaurus made their way through the pack. After all this hustle in the last jam, this turned out to be really quick, and Scarasaurus is trying to take the gaps between the opponents to make their way through. Four points on the first trip, on the first scoring trip through the pack. Scarasaurus enters the pack again and tries to get more points for their team before the opponent enemy, Lucid Lucy, can even make their way through the pack. Okay, things changed very nice for Dust City at the moment. And Scarasaurus made their way again. 4 more points for Dust City, which means 12 points in only 1 jam, and they are still skating. We have 23 seconds in this jam left, and Scarasaurus might take the whole time and try to do all points that are possible. We have already 16 points given and 11 more seconds. Maybe they can make it the 20 points jam. And yes, Scarasaurus made it. 20 points in 1 jam. What an awesome result by a really strong jam. Yeah, we have some happy dancing moves here on the track. This was their best jam, I think. I was just asked by a person from the audience if it is common that there are 20 points, and no, actually it's not. So usually it's 4 or 8 points as we had seen here, but actually I think once I had a jam with 28 points announced, but more than 20 points does not happen too often, because jammers usually fall off at some point because it's so exhausting for them. There was a nice offense from Dust City, which gave Fancy the opportunity to get the lead and to get themselves on the way to the first scoring trip. Oh, this is a very stretched pack. We have some pack issues here. Out of play call by the official. Oh yeah, I was just asked what out of play means. So, the pack was moving forward while people were still blocking in the back. And when they are out of the engagement zone, because they stand still, but the pack is moving forward, at some point you get this warning, out of play. And if you ever hear the out of play call, please stop blocking. You are not allowed to block anymore. In this case, you have to stop blocking and move forward in this situation with the jammer until you are again in the engagement zone and are allowed to block again. This was forgotten by one of the blockers here, and so they got a penalty. Wow, we had a successful star pass for Wet City Rollers, and while Fancy is still doing, now they call off with 16 points for Dust City Rollers and 4 points for Wet City Rollers. We have 88 to 170. Out the Wet City Skater. Yes, nice. Lead status for the Mean Machine. Quickly called off to avoid opponent points. See what will happen. Both teams are ready to give everything for this last chance. And we have lead status for Dust City Rollers. Scarasaurus took their chance and tries to go through the pack again, while on the other side, Wet City's Lucid Lucy is also through the pack, and this was the call. Let's see for the last point. We have 4 points for Wet City Rollers and 3 for Dust City. This is our unofficial score. We are still waiting for the final score. And right now we have 96 points for Wet City Rollers and 173 points for Dust City Rollers. This is the final score. Dust City Rollers with 173 points as the winner of the first game in this tournament. And also a big applause for Wet City Rollers with 96 hard points. Give it up to both teams, please. Congratulations. And also a big applause to all the officials and all the helpers who made this possible. Thank you.